What is up and welcome back. Well, just when I thought I was done for the night and about to lay down and call it a night, I came up on Amy's latest video. Don't be disrespectful. It is very interesting to say the least, so we are going to take a gander into this, and yes, I want to say I have run-ins all the time in stores. Sometimes customer service is just not what it seems. I was in TJ Maxx the other day. They were complaining about giving me a bag for my stuff because they were short, and I said, okay, that's fine, but, you know, as a paying customer, you really don't want to carry a bunch of stuff out with no bag, and then the bag that I had was ripping, but okay, whatever, I left it alone. I thought, okay, you know, I really wanted to say something to the lady, but I left it alone. But let's go ahead and take a peek right into this, because it's pretty interesting. I did skip her intro and her good afternoon and yada yada. Let's get right into this. Let's just put in perspective, we still have a pandemic going on, you know. It is what it is. And I also want to say the Dollar Tree that's in my town is very, very busy, understaffed. The floors are always a mess, but they're understaffed. I understand it. That's what happens in some stores. They don't have time to clean up. You know, they're understaffed. So let's get right into it.
And I purchased 15 of these. Okay, they're 14-ounce bottles. And I purchased them, and I'm going to decorate, like not decorate them, but, put whatever on them. They'll be personalized for
You're
customers.
going to decorate them.
But on the website, you have to buy 36 of them in order to make a purchase on their actual website. Well, I didn't want to purchase 36 of them. Now, these cups, these ones are not from Dollar Tree, but there's some that are kind of like this, but they're not this style. But again, you have to make a 36 purchase in order to get them. So you're gonna pay $1 a piece, but you have to purchase 36 of them, a case. Well, I didn't want to purchase 36 of them. That's just not what I wanted to do.
So let me first start by saying, great stop right there, great pause. If you don't want to follow, this is where we get into Amy. Something's always, when Amy wants to break the rules, it's always everybody else's fault. So if you don't want to purchase 36 of them, then you get in your happy little van and you go see how many are in the store. But does Amy do that? Nope, she doesn't. Amy has to she'll drive around everywhere else for everything, but let's see what Amy says.
I went online and I got the SKU numbers, which
and
is like the
glare
number
coming
that's
in
at
is
the
from the
bottom
window
of like
hers.
where you're gonna do the barcode line.
SKU, barcode, UPC.
I don't know. Anyways, so I wrote down the SKU numbers of a couple of the cups that I was interested in. And so in previous times, I have called the store and I had my SKU number, and I would talk to the manager and I would give him the SKU numbers. He would, digit it in and see if they have any in store and how many were in store, just so I would know how many they have. Well, yesterday, so I haven't done this since the whole COVID thing happened. I haven't, made any big purchases like that. So I went
15 water bottles from the dollar store is a big purchase here. So here's my thing with this off rip. First off, again, the Dollar Tree, maybe yours isn't, but mine is always cracking. There's sometimes 2 registers if that open. The lines are long. Like I said, it is always a zoo. What if they go to type this in and they say, okay, we have 15? Somebody goes to the store 2 minutes after you called and buys all 15. Now you're going to get there and you're going to be mad that they told you on the phone that they had 15 and now they have 0, they have 5, they have 2, 3, whatever, etc. I know very many stores highly will hold things for you. Why wouldn't she just get in the van and go check? But no, does Amy do that, guys? Let's go find out what Amy does.
And I called yesterday, and a worker had answered the phone, and I asked to speak to the manager, and she was like, okay. So the manager gets on the phone, and I kind of explained to her what, I'm looking for. I said, I have the SKU numbers. I was just curious to know, can you punch these into your computer and see in your inventory if you have them and, how many you have in stock? And she's like, no, I can't do that. And I'm like, what? I thought she was joking at first. I really thought she was joking. The way that she answered me, I was like, what? And she was like, I can't do that. I don't got time for that. And I'm like, well, if you're busy, I was like, I totally, hands down, am totally okay with calling back. When you have time, if you want to give me a time when you think that you'll be less busy, I was like, I totally can call back. I said, I've done this multiple times before. I was like, I used to do it with, and I gave the manager's name, and she's like, he hasn't worked here in a hot minute. And I'm like, a hot minute. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, I understand that. I was like, okay. I was like, but what my point is that I've done this in the past, and he, as a manager, he was totally cool with doing that. I was like, so that's kind of what I'm doing today, or that's what I want to do as, for today. And she's like, well, what are they? Blue, pink, yellow? Are they glass? What are they? I said, well, that's not really what I'm looking for. I'm not really looking so much for the color as I'm looking for the style. Because, they have ones, not like this. So they're small like this, okay? Because these are for kids. So they're small like this. However, they don't have the little straw. They have an opening like this. I don't want those for kids. Parents are going to rather have their kids have a straw. At least I.
So you know what that means, Amy? You go in there and you see which ones. Here's your two options. You got A and you got B. You go in there physically and you see what they have, or you come out of pocket $36 and you get the ones online with the UPC that you want with the barcode that you have right there. That's what you do. But does Amy do that? Let's continue. Oh, sorry. Oh, goodness.
I do. Than having an open lid that when a kid opens it, it's just going to go dumping out everywhere, okay? Especially if you've got a toddler that you're giving it to. So it's not technically I'm looking for the color, it's the style. And she's like, well, I'm not going to be able to do that. I was like, well, not now or ever. And she's like, well, never. I'm like, okay. And she's like, I just don't understand why you don't go online and you don't make your purchases there. Why you have to call the store. And I'm like, hold on a minute. Why? First of all, why do we have attitude? Second of all, I'm well aware that there's the internet, that I could go online and do it. But here's the issue. I don't want to purchase 36 of these.
Then go in the store.
15. But to purchase them online, I have to do the 36. Or it's 35 or 36, something like that. It's in the 30s. Because I knew I wanted to only purchase half of that. So I hung up. I didn't hang up, but the phone had hung up. So I just hung up, and I thought I had heard her name, but I wasn't 100%. So I was like, well, I need to call back and get the name. So you guys, I called from 4:30 in the afternoon until 9 o'clock when they closed. I called, and the phone, they would not answer the phone at all.
They were probably busy.
So I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to call corporate tomorrow because I never do this, and I don't want to see this person get in trouble. But at the same time, this is complete not okay. So today I was like, you know what? I'm just going to call back to the store and see if I can get her name. or make sure that it's the name that I thought I had, which it was. So I call back the store, and this gentleman answers, and I said, yeah, I was calling to see if I could talk to a manager. And he's like, well, that's me. I'm the store manager. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, I was calling to actually see if I could get corporate's number to your company. And he was like, oh, okay. He was like, yeah, I can provide that with you. And he's like, is there something I can help you with? And I was like, well, I said, actually, I just have one question. That's all you have to answer. Other than that, it's totally cool. I've got everything else taken care of. Well, I proceeded to talk to the manager, and I told him, I said, I'm not trying to get this person in trouble. I said, but here's the thing. If this is a manager of your store, they're representing your company. I said, to me, I feel like there is a fine line between even being just an employee and a manager. Like, you're holding a bigger title than just an employee. And I said, when she answered me and was like, well, that manager hasn't worked here in a hot minute, I'm like, to me, that's not talking professional, first of all. I said, no, I'm not by any means trying to tell people how to...
Amy's talking about talking professional and talking right.
Hello, people tell me all the time.
Captain Grammar here.
But I also am not representing a company and talking this way to someone that's looking for business. Especially someone like myself that has made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars into their business. I have.
So Amy's starting here talking about hundreds. I've made hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars for my business. Then break bread and get your little 36 water bottles off the internet and quit trying to get people fired. Oh, it gets better though. Wait. Well, it gets worse, shall I say. Let me take that back. It does not get better. It gets worse.
It's not like I'm just randomly calling to, strike
yeah, you're randomly calling because you're too lazy to drive in there.
The manager, he was like, oh my gosh, I am really sorry. I said, or he said, we've been working with her about this, about being professional, and, it just, obviously, it's still not clicking in yet. And he's like, and he explained to me that it's a new policy with, Dollar Tree, that they are not allowed to actually put SKU numbers in and look for customers to see if they have certain things in the store. He said, I think it's silly, to be honest. He said, because $1 is $1. Like, you're going to make money if you do that for customers.
But you can't guarantee when you tell Sally Joe or whoever that you have 13 left and they get in there and there's only 3, that is going to start a fight in itself. So it's first come, first serve. I see why they won't do that. But did you hear what she just said? Now remember this. It's against policy for them to do this. Now listen.
But he's like, they have told us that we can't. And I said, well, here's the thing. If she would have explained that to me, it would have totally made sense. But when she answers me and just tells me, no, I can't do that, it made me feel like I was just being a bother and she didn't have time to do that. And that's why my response was, well, can I call back at a better time? She didn't explain anything that it's against their policy or whatever. Like I said, had she done that, I would have fully understood that. Policies are policies. I get that. Boy, we've been learning about policies lately. Anyways.
And we've been learning about policies lately because you want to break all the policies and then want the rules to be bent for you, but then when they don't bend them for you, just like you said about Etsy, that Etsy wasn't a good company, etc., and you're trying to tarnish Etsy's name. Etsy is a great company. I do business with them. I just done business with a Etsy store, and we'll get into that later. But you are tarnishing names because people don't want to break the rules for you when you break the rules. Moving along.
He says, yeah, he's like, it's unfortunate. He said, I'm not making any excuses for her because what she did was unacceptable. And I said, well, I said, I fully respect you telling me how you've told me. I said, I understand that, and that makes a lot of sense, and I appreciate you taking the time to explain that to me, because then I know that it's a policy thing. It's just not a I don't feel like doing it type of thing, or a bothersome. And so he says, well, yeah, he said, but I have one question for you. And I said, okay. He said, you may have already told me this, but I'm going to ask you one question and you tell me your answer. I said, okay. And he said, what time was this happening? I'm like, well, it was between 4 and 4:30. I was like, I really can't guarantee exactly. I said, I can go back and look on my phone log, but it was between 4 and 4:30. And he said, okay. And he said, well, I'm going to check something really quick. I said, oh, okay. So at this point, I had no idea what he was talking about. And he said, we've been really working with our company because I guess a lot of their employees have been working off the clock, and that's an automatic fire. And I'm thinking, oh, God. And so he said, I need to find out, was she even on the clock when she took this phone call, or was she on break? So
this girl takes the phone call to try and do a business a favor, so the phone's not there sitting ringing off the hook. And listen to what our girl Amy stirs up.
He types in whatever information that they type in, and he was like, oh, she was on lunch when she took this call. She was not supposed to be touching the phone. And I was like, well, I don't want to see her lose her job over this. That's not, especially in this time, day, and age, I'm not trying to get people to lose their job. But if I could help somebody learn to do their job better, more professional, then yeah, I'm going to say something. I'm not going to just let people, be disrespectful to me as a customer. I would never treat somebody that way. That's just not me. So he said, no, he said that's like an automatic fire for her touching the phone when she was on break, especially being a manager. She knows that policy well. And I'm like, oh, crap, because now I'm feeling like horrible because I don't want her to lose her job. That was not what my intentions were. My intentions were, hey, you need to do better training with your managers that when they answer the phone, they're holding a huge title to your company. They need to be more professional. They are representing you and your business. That is huge. That's not something light. I mean, some people may think that, a manager is just whatever. Manager titles are big. They are big. And people work very hard to receive those titles. So to me, I think, if you're going to have that title, you need to be professional with it. So then we proceeded to continue to talk, and then he ended up, he's like, do you have those SKU numbers by any chance? I was like, well, yeah, I do. He was like, can you give them to me? I said, well, honestly, there's two that I'm really wondering about.
So instead of her saying, honestly, I don't want you to lose your job, never mind, I'll come in and I'll drive in there right quick, see what you got, or I'll just wait till I make a couple keychain orders and roll with it and order the 36. I'm not a baller out here or anything, but I don't have a business, but Amy's got a business and can't break bread. Take a couple of orders, save that back, order the 36. I mean, it's not like 336. And again, I know people, but Amy seems to be selling. She's slanging these keychains left and right. Amy goes ahead and is happy that he breaks the policy. Let's watch another minute and I'm over it. I am really... Sorry.
I said all the other ones I really could care less about at this point. I was like, but there's two that I really am curious to know if you have. So he took the SKU numbers down and he did look them up for me. By the end of it all, he did look them up because of everything that had happened. And they ended up happening to have those ones in stock. They did not have these other ones that I was looking for, which was fine.
Here.
So I asked him, I said, well, is there any way that you could put 15 aside and I will come in and grab them? I was like, I'll be there in like 15 minutes at the most.
So here's the thing. So I'm surprised that they put them back for her, because that's, you know, what if she wouldn't have showed up? That would have, you know, bypassed the sale for somebody else. But Amy got her way. All right, y'all. I think that is I'm like, really, Amy? Like, you couldn't have just drove in there or waited till you sold a couple more keychains and broke bread and got your little 36 water bottles and off you go. And then another thing, you just gave everybody else that you got competition with where you get your water bottles. So, now everybody else that makes these knows that they can go to the good old Dollar Tree and get their happy little water bottles. And yeah, you just showed the competition where to get them. Smart. So, on that note, you guys, I've had enough. I'm not listening to the other, what do we got? I don't know, 5 minutes left. I'm over it. Good job, Amy. You probably got somebody fired, all in all, over some silly water bottles that you could have took your towel in there that they ended up having. Good job, Amy. Good job. All right, guys. I will see you later. Shoot me a thumbs up. And yeah, I don't think we missed anything other than this shenanigan from Amy. Let's take a quick peek why we are here. Good old keychains, more Saturday Night Chat, tangles, yeah. So, we're caught up on Amy. That is all I can substand, and yes. I will see you guys later. Have a great day, great night, good morning, depending on when you're watching this, and Kaya's out. Thank you so much, guys. I'll talk to you later. Have a good night. Bye.